Welcome to the Charlotte County Community Group meeting for July 7th, 2025. Once again, for those who weren't here earlier, hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. Lots of fireworks. Okay, we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which is stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, as our usual tradition, any new members or guests? Yay! Join today. Congratulations. Well, thank you. I hope this is all worthwhile.
Oh, it is. It will be.
It has to be.
And follow on that, well, we are looking for new volunteers, that sort of stuff. We're always looking for help at the desk, front desk help or technical help. Always looking for somebody that might know a little bit about Windows or Apple products or any other technology to give us a hand in the office with, with people that come in and have questions. Whatever we can do, it's a members helping member organization that we're here to help each other. So let's pitch in and try to do a little bit and help each other out. There's always a lot of opportunities if you want to teach a class. Always looking for somebody to do a little teaching. If you want to present something, Kathy Fyock, was everybody here for the AI? She that was a fun little deal she did there. That was a lot of fun. I'd love to have Kathy back and do another presentation. She's terrific. But like I said, she's just a member volunteer. I'd like to put in a little picture up for marketing. Just wanted to let you know our current membership is just below 300 for the first time since I've been a member. So we were down to, I believe it's about 299 last time I looked. So trying to amp up our efforts for marketing. And I was talking to a gentleman the other day who works on websites and that sort of thing. And he made a couple suggestions that I hadn't thought about. And one of them is Google reviews. How many people do Google search for different products or services? Everybody does, right? So how do you get known out there? How do you get found? Let's say if somebody was looking for the Charlotte County Computer Group, they would do a Google search. And the way you get up the chain as far as getting yourself out there on Google is one of the ways is Google reviews. So if you haven't done so and would like to, I'd really encourage you to go just go on Google and do Google search. Just search, do CCCGC reviews, and it'll take you to a place where you can actually do a review of our organization. And so to make suggestions to other people. In fact, give me a second, I'll see if I can pop it up here. We can take a look at what we have right now.
Move on.
That wasn't. I thought it'd come right up. It's gonna be a hard time.
Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
Question.
About Google reviews and
Mine's
I'm
point at best.
CCCGC and
I'm 84. So, when I was 62, but but then certain shit is divided. How many comments? Yeah.
looks like we need some.
Well, yeah, we do. Nah. Sorry about that. We did get there.
Under chamber of commerce, okay?
Maybe so. Yeah. Having no trouble getting there. Maybe just one more try here. We'll give it up.
That's the opposite. What is it, Grace? And what does that say? This is 506. Yeah, I'm sorry. The ability sits between Grace. Okay. All right. Check that out. But you would put 506 stand in Google, I mean, in your GPS. You put Dan Street in your GPS to get there? Yeah, it's right. It's right by the, high school to get in. Cooper, yeah. Go behind.
There we go on the right hand side here. See where it says
High school.
Google reviews, CCCGC.
Just go beyond that.
That's
On the right. We only have 5 reviews. Building sits.
Yeah, currently we only have 5 reviews.
Let's get to work.
Yeah, let's get to work. Pump up our reviews and let's get it up there. So Google is only one way to get noticed also. Nextdoor. How many people use Nextdoor? Yeah, definitely use Nextdoor. We're on there also. So if you have an opportunity, usually what happens is somebody's looking for a computer or some help with a computer issue, and Nextdoor is a good also reference for us also. But yeah, if we could pump up our number of reviews under Google reviews, I think it would really help us out. Okay, the presentation tonight, I've decided to go through and I found on the web a gentleman by the name of Leo Noteboom. And he has a website called www.askleo.com. And he's really pretty good about explaining a lot of different things as far as If you're interested in OneDrive, how OneDrive works, if you want to not use OneDrive, how to not use OneDrive, and to remove it from your system and do other things instead of it. That Leo Notenboom really does a pretty good job, I think, of explaining things. So, but I was looking around for Passkeys because, like I said, it's an up and coming thing, especially with the passwords being susceptible to being hacked. I think Passkeys is really going to be important. And if you kind of, at least he'll give you a sense of how they work and why they're a desirable thing that we're headed for. So give me just a minute. Let me see if I get this presentation up and running.
What is a passkey? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for AskLeo.com. Now, by now, I'm sure you know the frustration of creating and using and managing and forgetting passwords. But what if there was a way that once you signed into your device, all of the subsequent sign-ins happened securely and automatically without your needing to remember much of anything? In the coming years, you are going to be hearing more and more about something called passkeys. Not passwords, not passphrases, passkeys. And in fact, you might already be using them without even realizing it. Let's differentiate between those three authentication methods first. As the name implied, passwords are an authentication method where, in addition to your user ID, you prove who you are by entering a word, a collection of characters that you previously defined as the password to your account. The word password is, of course, a very bad password because it's short and simple and easy to guess. But something like JY9ZDQBNSWQMUYCIC2XW, well, you can guess that's pretty good because it's very long, it's random, and it's essentially unguessable. Passphrases are passwords made up of multiple words. I love Lucy is a bad passphrase because it's a famous phrase all on its own. Until it was used as a popular example of a passphrase, correct horse battery staple was a good passphrase because it's lengthy and the words are unrelated. Jon Snow, you know nothing, is a decent passphrase because it's an erroneous mix-up of an easy-to-remember phrase. Passkeys are something else entirely. They use what's called public key cryptography. They might be the safest and the easiest to use, but they're also the most difficult to explain. So please bear with me on that. Now, I do want to point out, this is a high-level conceptual overview. It's not meant to be accurate at the bits and bytes detailed level. Actual passkey implementations are honestly difficult to get. I believe the concepts here are accurate enough to understand the basics of how the technology works. If I later discover inaccuracies, of course, I'll update the article, which in fact this video is a reflection of. Public key cryptography is the workhorse of most online encryption. It's what's used, for example, to secure HTTPS connections, the SSL/TLS connections configured in your email program, and much, much more. The concept is very simple. Two large numbers, really large numbers, A and B, are created using a special mathematical formula. Among many other things, they have the following relationships to one another. You cannot calculate one from the other, and anything you encrypt using one can only be decrypted using the other. That last point is important. If you encrypt some data using the number A as the encryption key, then only B can be used to decrypt it. Similarly, anything encrypted using B as the encryption key can only be decrypted by A. A cannot decrypt A, and B cannot decrypt B. Only B can decrypt something encrypted using A, and only A can be used to decrypt something using B. I think of it as two locks on the same box. If you lock the box using key A, it can only be opened with key B. If you lock the box using key B, it can only be opened by using key A. Yeah, it sounds magical. It is. It's digital and mathematical magic as far as I'm concerned. It's beautiful magic if you're into that kind of thing, but it's magic nonetheless. Now, I did mention that this is typically called public key cryptography. Here's why. Public key encryption or authentication refers to the use of both keys in these magical key pairs. One of them is referred to as the public key. The other is the secret or private key. Now, if I keep A secret and make B public, then two interesting things are really possible. Anyone can encrypt something using that public key B that only I can decrypt using my private key A. If I encrypt something using my secret key A, anyone can confirm that only I could have encrypted it if they are able to decrypt it using the public key B. Indeed, I've got a publicly available public key that anyone can use to encrypt a message to me. Given that only I have the corresponding private key, only I can. Public key encryption can enable authentication that doesn't use passwords. This is actually something that's been used on Linux systems for decades. You create a key pair, public and a private key. You keep your private key in a safe place, and you don't share it with anyone. It's private. You give the public key to the owner to connect to. Now you try to sign into the server. The server says, in effect, I'm thinking of a number. I'll encrypt this number using your public key and give you the encrypted result. Now, tell me what number I'm thinking of. Since you are in possession of the corresponding private key, which you kept safe and secure, the tool you're using to sign in can decrypt the data the server sent you. It can then respond to the server, no problem, here's the number, and provide whatever that number is. Because you had the matching private key, only you could have decrypted the information, and only you could have responded with the correct number. You must be you. And it all happened behind the scenes without your doing a thing. I've been using this type of authentication to connect to my Linux servers for, probably 2 decades by now. All right, passkeys. Passkeys are public-private key pairs that are automatically generated for you. The public key is kept on the service that supports passkeys, like Google as one example, and the private key is stored securely on your computer. When you sign in, the service responds with a challenge that is encrypted using your public key. Because your computer has your private key, it can correctly decrypt that challenge, proving that you are who you say you are. Access granted. And all of that is completely transparent to you, other than perhaps needing to unlock your computer's securely stored repository of private keys. Now, we'll talk about that in a second. Passkeys are unique to each device. Note that in its basic form, a passkey key pair is different for each machine you use. So, for example, I might have a key pair for my Google account accessed from my desktop, a key pair for my Google account accessed from my laptop, a key pair for my Google account accessed from my phone, a key pair for my PayPal account accessed from my desktop, a key pair for my PayPal account accessed from my laptop, and so on and so on. Again, all of this is managed behind the scenes for you. There's nothing you need to keep track of yourself. The service keeps track of all the public keys associated with your account, and each device holds the private keys for the accounts that have been set up on that device. How do you set it up? How passkeys are set up depends on when and where you're doing it. I'll look at 2 possibilities: creating a new account from scratch and adding passkeys to an existing account on a new device. If you're creating an account from scratch using only passkeys for authentication, the setup process itself, as you're creating the account, will create the key pair used for that service on the machine you're using to create the account. The service will keep a copy of the public key, and the private key will be securely stored only on your machine. You're signed in on that machine automatically as needed. Now, the process should also have you set up additional information so that you can sign into the account without a passkey. Usually this is something like an email address or a mobile number at which you could receive a confirmation code. This is used to sign you in on additional devices on which you've not yet set up a passkey. So, when you're signing into a new, or as many people ask about, a replacement device, the process is a little different. Whether or not you're already using passkeys with an existing account, you can add a passkey when signing into a new or a replacement device for accounts that support it. Step 1 is to first sign in some other way. There will be another way. Like I said before, you'd be setting up at least some kind of email address or phone number or some other approach that would authenticate you the first time you sign into that account on a new device. Using a password, for passwordless accounts, you might use the code sent to an email address or a mobile number, or you might confirm a prompt on a different device that you've already signed in. Remember, you could do this without passwords. It's just less convenient. There's a few additional steps, and you're also relying then on your ability to access your email or access your mobile. Once you're signed in, again, using something other than a passkey, since you haven't set one up yet, many services will just now offer to set up the passkey if they notice that there's no passkey for the device on which you're signing in. You can typically also visit the account security settings for that account to set one up. The passkey setup process, again, it creates a key pair for use for that service and stores the private key on your machine. You're signed in from that machine automatically as needed thereafter without needing to go through those additional hoops. Using passkeys. So when you visit a site for which you have set up a passkey, you sign in by unlocking your phone or Windows with your PIN, your face, your fingerprint, or what other mechanisms you've set up. That's it. You're signed into your account. Even if your phone or computer is already unlocked, your attempt to use a passkey should require the unlock process to kick in again to confirm you are who you say you are. This prevents someone from grabbing your unlocked phone, for example, and then using the passkeys on it. But again, that's it. Now, without a passkey, you can still sign in some other way, but the technique is more cumbersome. You would maybe receive an email with a code to enter or a link to click. You might receive a text message with a code to enter or a link to click. You might receive a notification on another device on which you're already signed in to the same account. You might enter a password if your account still has a password. That last one's important because one of the long-term goals of passkeys is to completely phase out passwords. Once you've signed in one of these other ways, then yeah, you have the option of setting up a passkey. So again, you don't have to jump through those more complicated hoops the next time you sign in on that device. Now, passkeys are often confused with two-factor authentication. They are similar, but in reality, they are two separate things. The best way to think about this is that conceptually, passkeys replace passwords. What that means is that if your account has two-factor enabled, then the first time you sign into a new device, you'll sign in some other way, since by definition it's a new device, there's no passkey in place. That some other way may include needing to respond to the two-factor authentication process. Once you're signed in, you can then set up a passkey if you like to securely streamline future sign-ins on that device. The confusion is that the some other way techniques are sometimes similar to the two-factor authentication mechanisms. All right, why passkeys are secure? Passkeys protect you from the most common ways that passwords are compromised. That's why eventually passwords will become a thing of the past. For example, if there's a data breach, well, if you're using passkeys, there's no impact because the public key that, even if it is found in the data breach, is useless anywhere but at the legitimate service. If you're using passwords, well, it's low impact, unless the breached service has really poor security, in which case it's got a high impact. Phishing. If you're using passkeys, there's no impact. passkeys cannot be phished. Obviously, if you're using passwords, yeah, it's high impact if you happen to hand over your password to the hacker who has successfully phished you. Malware and keyloggers. Again, if you're using passkeys, there's nothing secure to type or log, so there's no impact. If you're using passwords, very high impact, as merely typing your password could cause it to be captured. If you lose your device, if you're using passkeys, it's low impact. Passkeys are protected by your device's unlock process, and they can be revoked remotely. If you're using passwords, of course, it's moderate impact, depending on exactly how you store your passwords. Reuse. If you're using passkeys, there is no reuse. There is no impact. Passkeys are unique to each device and each account. If you're using passwords, of course, password reuse is very high impact. Using the same passwords for multiple accounts is perhaps right now the most common way that accounts get compromised. Brute force attacks. If you're using passkeys, there's really no impact. While technically, pedantically, a brute force is possible, the amount of time required is so ludicrously long that it's impractical. What's ludicrously long? Centuries? If you're using passwords, well, the impact is moderate. Poor password choices can often easily be brute forced, as can poor storage techniques on part of the online service. All right. Where passkeys are stored. Remember, it's your possession, your ability to use the corresponding private key that allows you to confirm that you are you. That's a sensitive piece of information, not unlike a password. It's stored securely in one of several different ways. In your operating system's secure credential storage. This isn't your browser saving a password. This is the operating system using its own high security repository. Yeah, this is the TPM. It's the default. When you need to use a passkey, it's your operating system that then requests your PIN, your face, your fingerprint, or whatever other technique might be available. In Windows, it's Windows Hello. On your mobile device, it's typically whatever device unlock process you've chosen. That then allows the operating system to fetch the private key from its secure storage. You might store it in your password manager. Many password managers offer to act as your passkey repository. This allows you to set up a passkey for an account once, and then via the password manager, use that same passkey on multiple devices without having to set up a new one in each place. When you attempt to use a passkey, your password vault will then confirm you are authorized with either your master password, a separate PIN, or the operating system provided methods we just talked about. On a hardware security key. Some, though not all hardware security keys, like this YubiKey, can be used to store a limited number of passkeys. Like using a password vault, this allows you to have a single passkey for an account that you carry with you and use as needed by providing the security key at authentication time. In all cases, the private key is stored securely. While we can never say never, it's extremely unlikely that a passkey's private key would ever be compromised. Much more unlikely than security associated with all the other authentication techniques. Bottom line here, of course, is to get ready for passkeys. It's going to take a lot of time. I'm thinking it's going to take years for more and more services to add passkey support, but this does seem to be the direction authentication is headed. I enable it whenever it's offered. The good news is that the transition may be largely transparent. You'll just start using passwords less and less often as passkeys are set up behind the scenes. For updates, for related links, for comments and more, visit askleo.com/157308. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is AskLeo.com. Thanks for watching.
Like I said, I like Leo a lot. He's got some pretty good information there. So So anyway, that was kind of the presentation on passkeys. I know they're relatively new. Hang on a second, let me light this back on. There, how's that? Oh, better. I want the feedback. So passkeys are coming. I kind of think they're really going to be a real boom in the future. It'll make it a lot more secure for all of us. I mean, I like locking in with my fingerprint. I've used face recognition as far as unlocking a device. But it all depends on what kind of bad morning I had. I had a bad hair day, or didn't wear my glasses or whatever. Sometimes I ran into problems there. I also like the PIN number, usually four-digit PIN, unlocks, devices or whatever. Works pretty good. So I think that's kind of where we're headed down the road here. So don't be surprised if you all of a sudden log into a service and it says, would you like to set up a passkey? So far, when I have, it's gone relatively smoothly and it works really nice. So I think passkeys, there's still a lot of magic that goes on behind the scenes, but from a secure standpoint, it's a good way to go. Like I said, it uses number systems that are way over my head to calculate. I guess these new quantum computers, when they talk about brute force attacks, they're like the only thing that can actually break the encryption on these things in a reasonable period of time. But for standard classical computers, they're not going to be brute force breaking these passkeys anytime in the near future. Any questions that might have on passkeys or? No? Cool. Like I said, they're coming. There'll be a time when you'll be using a passkey, you won't even know it. Like I said, if you're logging in with your fingerprint or face login right now, there's a good chance you're using passkeys as it is. Just don't know it. Yes.
One thought comes into my head and then 45 and help me it. I'm thinking about somebody could make a clay statue of my face and all that kind of accelerate stuff. But a long time ago, Dick Evans was working and I was really concerned about my 3 kids having photos and all my paperwork, my will and everything about me. So all 3 of them would have it. So I have 3 flash drives. I have my obituary written and all that kind of stuff is taken care of. But with this, if this is in place, how do I leave it to them?
Well, your flash drive, etc., is not encrypted. So I mean, you can give those files to them.
That's already done. That's a
Right.
done deal. But if I did something like this, how could I?
Oh, that's a good question because now they don't have if you're not here, they don't have your biometric information anymore to get into the accounts. So yeah, they'd have to, I would imagine for like financial institutions, they're gonna have to come up with a death certificate, that sort of thing, and go through that process to get access to the account information.
Yeah, but she's talking about the computer itself. The flash drive has all the information on it.
Yeah.
So when they go to her house, they can't use her computer, they can't use her phone, they can't use any of that stuff.
Right.
How did they take possession of it? Because they own
Yeah, the only way, like I said, on a flash drive, unless you purposely encrypt it, then they're gonna be unencrypted
it.
files.
No, you're
Okay.
not, that computer in front of you.
Right.
How did they get into that?
May not be able to.
That's the pisser.
Ask Leo. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if, right now, if you have your computer with a PIN number
Right.
to get in, and you don't have the PIN number, what do you do?
I've left them that they have the access.
They have the
Okay.
access now. They
Right.
won't have it when they go to this.
Yeah,
Yes.
it could very well be. There's still usually another way to get around it. Let's say if you lose your password on your computer or your PIN number, if you go to Microsoft's account site and you know your Microsoft account password, you can actually go in that way
Yeah,
and get your information there.
But passcodes will supersede that,
I
right?
think they will, yeah.
And
so
because
it's-
of that, now you've got a worthless piece of junk.
That's
drawer.
right. You may be locked out. I mean, anybody that's
So
called
how do
security
we,
aspect
how
of
do we
it.
plan to get around that?
Well, like I said, the idea with the flash drive and saving unencrypted files for whatever, but I can see that'd be easy enough to do.
That is easy. enough to
Yeah,
do.
it's
a
just-
Physical machine.
Right, the physical machine itself, though, I think you could be locked out. So, yeah, getting to that account information is gonna have a different
There's a
way.
problem to solve.
There is a problem to solve there, yes,
Let's
yes.
ask Google.
Yeah.
Every problem has a solution.
I will.
But I think, I think
I got that.
ultimately, if it's account information for a particular account, I think you're gonna have to go to the institution, work through them to get access to it.
I like security for me, but I don't like locking my kids up.
Yeah. So that would be,
don't understand.
like I said, if you set it up with a PIN number, rather than biometric information, then all they need is the PIN number, actually. And then you'd be all set, then they have full access to the machine but if you set it up with a fingerprint or, face recognition, it's gonna be a challenge, that's for sure.
Leaving my fingers.
Yeah. But there's something that also comes up that, a lot of people say that on my laptop, that I don't want a password to get onto it. And I'm kind of steering people away from that now. I think you ought to have a PIN to unlock your own laptop, because laptops are transportable, they can be left places, and if you leave it unlocked, then there's the password managers for Google and Edge are saving all your passwords. You gotta be real careful there. So people who ask me to remove their login passwords, I really recommend you don't do that. So I at least a PIN, if nothing else. Fingerprint is good, face recognition, something to unlock it that says it's who you are.
But again, once you set up that passcode thing, won't that change the whole program?
But yeah, well, if you have a PIN, then you can actually share that PIN with members and still get access to the computer.
So the computer wouldn't be wiped out.
Right, so they can get in with the PIN. It's just, if it's set up with biometric information,
I'll ask Leo.
then Leo's, yeah, you might ask
Go
Leo.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Leo's gonna say, oh, yeah, there's a.
How about AI?
Well, that's, AI is being, well, yeah, AI is being used to fish people. It's really getting really good at that. So that's why I think passwords are really gonna be a thing of the past. Because if I got a call from Debbie right now, my wife, that said, hey, what's the password to our bank account? I'd say, sure, here, this is what it is. And then probably after I hang up, I'm going, I wonder if that was really her,
Oh, it's like fire.
Yeah, because AI these days, with the voice replication and everything, is so good that you only need 3 seconds of your voice and they can replicate your voice.
They can have mine. Maybe they don't want all my work.
Well, next month, guys, when I was considering doing it, let me know what you think. Windows 10 is really gonna be close, so I thought we'd go through and talk about what options are gonna be available for Windows 10. I think this thing with the free extended security updates is a great thing Microsoft did. But let's say you don't want to do that. I think there's other options, especially with Windows Defender that's gonna be updated until 2028. You might want to use something called Zero Patch, which patches the operating system. But we'll talk about those. And we'll probably throw in the other things about, if you really want to go to Linux or one of the other potential operating systems, we'll talk about the possibilities. Okay, any other questions? All right, guys, let's do a drawing.
Good.
I'm not keeping. Well, the first thing I looked at was to see if I had any nasty numbers, 964. I don't. Well, here's a good one. No, when I won.
Last three numbers, blue ticket, 794. 794.
You did it, Gloria.
Yay, oh, there you go. That's the best way to treat a new member.
That's beginner's luck right here.
Oh, I get money.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the price was.
50.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Super.
So I will get your name.
32.50.
Good.
Thank you.
And what's her name again?
Linda Wilkinson.
Linda Wilkinson.
Take a picture.
Let me take a picture.
You were close.
WILKENSEN.
No, WILKINSON.
The reason I say that, I'm gonna be in the lights, and I wanna make sure. it's on. Okay, if you turn away. Where's my? Camera. Okey dokey, and I'll get one in the background, and we'll crop him out.
Yeah, you don't need me in them.
I only got your leg.
Oh, you got it?
What do you want? Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, the red ticket is for a $25 gift certificate. The last three are 968. 9.
I got it.
No.
Hey, it along.
I said 2,000 years, I was close.
Okay, guys, the next meeting is gonna be Monday, August 4th. Yay, love to see you there.